Yeah.
So, guys, welcome everybody. Podcast of mine with two very interesting gentlemen. I met a couple of years ago here in Hong Kong. Alex and Leon. They are on the road to success, personally and some business activities. But first of all, I just wanna kind of know you guys. Like, are you guys both originally from Hong Kong?
Yeah, somewhat. So, yeah, well, this is Alex, alongside me, as Mack said, my business partner, one of my best friends, Leon Lee.
What's up?
So, yeah, co-founders of Stryde. I am born in Hong Kong. I left Hong Kong when I was 13. I was sent to boarding school in the UK. And actually, that's where my own fitness journey started, which I'm sure we'll get into a little bit later. And then I came back after university. I spent almost 10 years in the UK, came back, and then I started working. So technically born and raised in Hong Kong, I'd say.
Well, me too. I spent most of my life here in Hong Kong. Went to UK for university in London, where I met Alex. We can get into that story later on. But also, I started my fitness journey during university when someone randomly took me to the gym.
Yeah.
Right, that kind of sparked everything to do with fitness in my life. Yeah.
The same university?
No. So when I went to the UK when I was 13 in boarding school, you're talking about a kid who I already hit my growth spurt at 13. So I was already similar height to I am now, maybe plus or minus 10 centimeters. But I got thrown onto the rugby team. But back then I was just playing basketball in Hong Kong, right? Typical Hong Kong kid. So I played rugby. And I realized I got to get bigger because I played rugby and I was like my first game at school and I was running, I scored a try, didn't really know what was going on, right? And then my first game, I get tackled so hard and I was like, okay, this is a contact sport. So I went to the gym at age 13 in school and just copied what all the older kids did. Obviously not very good. Like it was just like a lot of bicep curls, a lot of sit-ups, a lot of bench press. That's it. No legs back then. But then that's when I started working out.
But you are 13 years old.
Yeah.
And so you are the youngest in the team.
No. So every year in school would have their own rugby
so
team.
It's the same.
Yeah. Technically not allowed, but we still snuck into the gym and worked out because you had to be 16 to go in there. But we were like, nah, we'll do it anyway. Yeah.
Well, first of all, I've always been relatively tall, so I was, naturally I played in a basketball team. And when I was in uni, I was selected into the actual university basketball team, which is very international, so it's not just within the Chinese community, right? And when I usually played center, because I'm relatively huge, but when I was put in the university
point
team,
guard.
I was literally the point guard, which is the joke I used to make, like, oh, I want to play point guard, right? But there I actually was because I was, quote unquote, smallest guy in the team.
Yeah.
So it's also the same time my friend brought me to the gym and showed me all the gym equipment and start working out, and that's when I fell in love with working out at a gym because the first thing that I was really attracted to about the gym is the more you work harder, the more results you're going to get, and there's no shortcut around it. Like it's a very measurable and quantifiable progress.
There's some shortcuts.
Yeah, true.
Some Mexican, no. Mexican movies when I live in the States, but it's here just Chinese over the border.
Yeah, made in China stuff.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of those guys here. Yeah.
What do you mean?
You can see this is not broccoli, dude. This is not broccoli. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is more than any different place I experienced.
Well, because as you get deeper into the industry, the more people you know, then there's levels to the. I don't want to use the word commitment, but there's like levels of how surrounded you are with fitness people.
Yeah.
So I used to think that I was really big in Hong Kong, and then I met Leon, and then I met Mack, and then we met more people, and then they're just so jacked, and you just be like, you do the math, right? Like I said, I've been in the gym since I was 13. I kind of know like how much muscle you can kind of put on, but then like some of the dudes you see, they're like, come on, they're like 25, but they look about 35.
Yeah.
Training age, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta ask yourself those questions, right? So, but hey, it is
But
what it is.
did you guys ever like calculate about how much muscle mass you can physically put on your frame?
Nah, I don't really look at it like that. I kind of just, for me, it's just composition, right? Well, it's composition versus whatever my goal is. So I think I used to always just shoot for getting really strong, right? So I ended up, I think Leon called me this. I ended up looking like a bear or something, bear mode or something.
Yeah,
I'm like,
you almost don't have a neck.
yeah, like I look good in a top, but then if you took my top off, well, back then I think I'm a bit better now. I'm kind of fluffy, right?
Yeah.
Because my goals back then were to be really strong.
Mm-hmm.
And I think last year, so end of 2019, I went on this. I felt like I got really fat, basically. I wasn't happy with the body composition.
But you were strong, or
I was strong then.
I was competing?
No. I was just going for heavy lifts.
Okay.
So I wasn't really into like aesthetic stuff then. And then like end of 2019, I just felt really fat. So I said I'm gonna take a month before Christmas and then like lose as much weight as I can comfortably. And then from that point onwards, I was very committed to like let's bring this body fat down. So now not now. Before the lockdown, I was like the leanest I've ever been. According to InBody, I was like 10%. I think maybe give or take a couple percent there.
Yeah.
And so now I'm more like looking in the mirror, and then I'm more focused on my nutrition now. But like I said, I think it's really dependent on the goal. Which I'm sure we'll talk about a bit more.
Yeah, I mean,
this kind of like engagement you guys in the gym. It's making this kind of like the impact regarding the business what you're doing right now. Yes.
Take that one, mate.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole problem we're trying to solve is 73% of people around the world actually do not meet their fitness goals. And after some surveying and some, being in the industry, we realized that most of it is because people lose motivation over time. Hence the New Year resolutioners, where in January there's a huge surge of new gym memberships or new fitness goals or whatever. You hear from your friends probably. Like you're in the industry, you have a lot of friends who's not really fit enough and they want to get fitter. Yeah. And they will tell you, hey, Mac, this is it. I'm going to get on this program. I found this diet. I'm going to do it. And then you're like, yeah, sure. Come back to me in 5 weeks. They're usually not there.
Yeah, it's just like for me it was the same. It was understanding the habits and then building the structure of the lifestyle for somebody else, because this was working for me. And it's work for anybody, because we are technically the same on the like a cognitive level, how we're designing the future for ourselves through the behaviors. So when I saw, what you guys did with the Stryde, building this kind of opportunity to somebody else, just plug your goal and then later, have some type of traction, and then build on the top of this some type of gamification. Yeah. So can you explain a little more?
So the original that you're referring to, so yes, our app is called Stryde, and the original version was you can come onto our platform and we have an algorithm that helps you create achievable goals. So back then it was really dependent on what Leon and I could design from a back-end perspective. So back then we really only offered weight loss. And what happened would be you'd come onto our platform and we would give you an achievable weight loss goal. So with that, your goal would be made public. And then other users of the platform will be able to see your goal, and they can actually bet with an in-app currency that we call donuts as to whether they believe or doubt you'd achieve that goal in the end. So that was the gamification part. Now, on paper, it sounded great, which is why we are pivoting now. So on paper, it sounded great, and the whole idea was to keep people accountable, right? So the idea was if Leon says he wants to compete physique or whatever, if I told him that I believe in him, Leon would be like, I can't let Alex down. If Mack said, I doubt Leon would go on stage, he would want to prove you wrong. That was the concept. So on paper, it made sense. However, because our platform was public, a lot of the feedback was, number one, people would look at Leon and kind of feel like he has that potential to do it. So he seems like the guy that would do it. So the betting isn't that fun because you kind of know he's going to do it, because I still believe he'll do it. Yeah. On the flip side, if, for example, somebody came in and it was just any Tom, Dick, and Harry, we didn't know that person. Nobody really cares. Like, I don't care if Tom, Dick, or Harry achieved this goal because I don't know him. So then we realized this kind of flaw basically was the issue, which made us realize we needed to pivot a little bit.
Yeah, and another reason is also very connected to that is people don't really connect with strangers in a way that they care enough for their fitness goals. Like if you turn on another app, which is say a dating app, you look at profiles, every profile is a potential, mate, and you're interested naturally to look at more profiles. And for Instagram, obviously, it's your friends. And on our platform back then, because it's public, like Alex said, the types of profile you see are usually, a random middle-aged man or someone with a photo without even a face. Like things like that really deterred people from wanting to keep scrolling through that feed of fitness goals, right? So our pivot would be to target existing communities instead. And for example, an existing gym with say 200 members, they would be able to challenge each other on a common fitness goal. For example, it could be as simple as just drinking enough water every day, or going for a jog, or go to the gym 3 times a week, sort of thing. And then ultimately they will be rewarded. But the central idea is that people will keep each other accountable, and so they will stay motivated on the long run.
So what do you guys are with this project right now?
So we're in development. So we went back to the drawing board, literally. Came up with Leon did some screens, and then worked with a developer again and said, like, look, this is the direction we're going to go in. Here's why we're doing it. And they're basically, working day and night, making this thing a reality. And then obviously, as all startups do, we got to, look for funding. And in the meantime, we're, bootstrapping. So yeah, we're just living the starving entrepreneur life, living off chicken breast and broccoli, rice.
But technically, can you guys offer this to the client? You mentioned the gym. Can you have some type of like a rundown?
So I think the idea is more like Leon said, I think the main difference here in terms of like the environment and the community aspect is that each entity or client or partner would have their own ecosystem. So if we took it to Prenetics, for example, right, it would just be the employees of Prenetics.
So can we plug in right now?
Right now,
it's still in development,
but trust us when it's out.
2 weeks.
Something like that. We'll see.
Yeah. But it's like with the information that I got about you guys, you guys not really like a geeky sound.
No, we are the so-called non-technical co-founders of a tech app. Well, to be fair, Leon's taking some courses right now in coding, so he's technically technical.
Technically, I'm technical. Yes.
Yeah. It's a different challenge. If you remember, like a year ago, we did a little a talk seminar on how to run a tech company that's when you're a non-technical founder, excuse me. And I think those challenges still exist. At the end of the day, like we're better now. Like I said, Leon kind of understands the language, so he takes the driver's seat on that end. It's really down to the communication with your developers. So you kind of need to speak their language in the sense that they might look at tasks and hours very specifically. Whereas, for example, if I were to work on a task in a project, it's going to take me 3.5 hours. I'm kind of just like, I got this task to do, I'll do it as quick as possible type thing. Whereas I think for coders and developers, it's very quantified. And that was like the main challenge in the beginning. Because on top of establishing how many hours it is for your developer on any given task, there's like an element of trust there because he can say whatever he wants. And I'll never really know because I'm not a coder. So now things have evolved. Now, Leon's got a grasp on the situation. We've also brought in a new chief technology officer, and he's been a superstar, really.
I think a good analogy would be opening a restaurant. Like if you're a restaurant owner, you don't necessarily need to be the chef, but I think you need to know enough about cooking and food and cuisine and culture to make the best decision on hiring off a chef and managing the chef.
Yeah.
Like if you don't know nothing about food, then obviously you're just gonna hire someone and be like, I want a French restaurant, I need it to be good quality. And then the chef does something, you don't even know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Right. So I think there needs to be a certain level of expertise. Doesn't mean I need to be full-time coding myself, although that might be even more ideal. But I think it was necessary that one of us get to learn just a little bit more about coding, and then we can, find the right guy to do most of the stuff.
Yeah, because I see like what I like about you guys, it's like you guys have a really good connection between each other as a founders, and this is what I personally experience with the startups when I'm working with, the chemistry doesn't really exist, and so this is the conflict of regarding the tasks, plans, and then any type of developments for the business. Or for example, you have one founder, and he or she thinking it's like, okay, I can do this by myself, and it's usually doesn't really work.
I think one thing that works is, I think interestingly enough, I think on a personality level, I think Leon and I are actually quite similar. I don't know.
Nah.
Okay, maybe not.
No
maybe I want that to be.
No.
But I think what helps is, I was going to say that the similarities in that versus the big differences in what we are comes within hard skills. So Leon and I are like night and day when it comes to like the technical or like the levels of expertise. Whereas when we first started working, like I'm the kind of guy that would just write on a white piece of paper and just jot things down, very much like you are right now. But Leon's the kind of guy that like, hey, okay, what we're talking about today? Okay, and he takes out a freaking spreadsheet and he'll have columns and rows. And I'm like, what is going on right now? That kind of difference in the way we approach work, I think we vibe off each other very well because I wouldn't really challenge him. Just like he wouldn't really challenge me. Of course, sometimes we butt heads, but then it's usually resolved because now I feel like the roles and responsibilities are even more clear because we've been working together for so long now.
If Alex and I have exact same working style and same experience, then we should fire each other because we're basically the same person. Then there's no need for co-founders.
Yeah, I think that's helped a lot.
How are you guys balancing, creating this kind of business with your personal life?
Oh man, I mean,
for me, I actually like the flexibility because obviously our team, like we said, one of them is in India, the other one is in the Philippines, and Alex is doing some personal training on the side, and I have some other gigs sometimes as well. So the time becomes really a bit irregular, right? And I'm actually okay with that, and it's easier to balance for me compared to say a 9 to 6 job. Because sometimes I might want to do some Stryde in the evening and then some of my other stuff in the afternoon. So I think it's easy.
Yeah, I think freedom's a big thing. So for me, I think being an entrepreneur, working on my own business, I think it suits me more. So as Leon said, I have to coach as well to keep the lights on, keep the food on the table. But my day is actually structured pretty well. So I'll wake up at like 5 or 6 in the morning. I'll coach in the morning, right? So maybe 6 to 8 I'll be coaching, maybe to 9. And then I'll have 3 hours blocked off every single day for the gym. So Monday through Friday at least, 9 a.m. to 12 a.m. is my time in the gym. From there, I'll be coaching again at around lunch hour, 12:30-ish I'll start. And then basically every day from 3 p.m. onwards is pretty much whatever else there is with Stryde or whatever other fires I need to put out. So then that's, end of the day, go to bed, and I'll repeat. So for me, that structure is perfect because when I used to work in an office, when I used to work 9 to 6, it's like go to work at 9, finish at 6, gym for 2 hours, and you're miserable because you're so hungry, right? It's like, and then after that, it takes an hour commute to go back home. And then back then when we started Stryde before I quit my job, that was like, oh yeah, I can reserve every day 10 p.m. to 12 a.m. I'll do Stryde. Never gonna happen. Ask Leon, like I was churning up some horrible work because I had no time to dedicate to it. And well, just to continue on the story and then, to commit to Stryde and then quit my day job, I took on PTing, thinking that I had more time on my hands, which is true. But PTing itself is like, it's very time consuming because you realize it's not just in the gym, dealing with my clients when they're at home, when they're not motivated throughout the day. I got to be the little cheerleader and, the guy with all the answers apparently. So now it's good, so, yeah.
But did you kind of felt this kind of lifestyle, it's for you, something like was meaning you like, I cannot have this, I can have this kind of like a punch card lifestyle,
The 9 to 6 thing?
Yeah, exactly.
What?
Everybody has a drive to build something like a company,
Oh, right. So you're saying would I had preferred to stay in corporate, right?
Yeah, it's like, I don't think so.
Well, okay, sure. I think for me it wasn't so much a 9 to 6. To be fair, I think it comes down to I didn't really believe in what I was doing then, right? they took care of me, of course. I worked for a PR firm, and they were all like amazing people. I did learn a lot there. I think the thing was I was working in like luxury, right? So it was, you know, amazing events and lots of jewelry, lots of watches, things I could never afford. And then I'm just like, I'm like, what am I really doing here? Which is why I think I was drawn to do this with Leon, because it's like you're helping people achieve goals. I mean, what more, like, what better thing to do than that? So I think it was more that. It had nothing to do with the time, because as you can tell, I mean, my days are pretty packed already. So doing the hours is okay. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't mind a 9 to 9 if we have our own office.
Yeah, exactly.
We're busy enough. To
I think that's the thing.
To do.
So you personally striving for something like that?
Yeah, I mean,
I see you more like a really structured guy.
I do enjoy regularity. I'm okay without it, but I prefer if we have just one thing to focus on for the whole week, as in, just Stryde, instead of like, do some part-time job there, part-time job here. But again, we're bootstrapping, so I think we have to do what's necessary. And we have to keep our gym schedule on point as well.
Yeah, exactly. This is a good representation.
Yeah, you understand that.
I totally understand.
You gotta look the part.
Right. And it's if when you're talking about doing the bootstrap, how often you guys asking for the help? From anything, because you have daily operation, weekly task, whatever. And if you see some type of problem, where do you find a solution?
Depends what the problem is. That's what I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
Depends what the problem is. I think in the beginning of Stryde, I think both of us were quite ego-driven. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't speak for Leon, because apparently we're not that similar. I was very ego-driven. I actually hated asking people for help. I'm just that kind of guy. I think nowadays, over the years, we've brought people into our team on an advisor role. So we have a marketing / game design advisor. Obviously, we have a chief tech guy now, so we have him. And it's reaching out to people like yourself, other people in the industry. It's like if I need a connection or an introduction, I mean, Mack is my speed dial. So I think I'm very open to asking for help these days.
Yeah, I'm slowly changing mindsets as well. Like initially, I would think if we have like a startup type of meeting with other founders and I go ask for advice, like, what should I do here? What should I do there? That made me feel like, there's an inferiority complex. I need help, and they're the mentor. Like there's a hierarchy going on.
But do you guys have mentors?
We do. We do have advisors.
Yeah, we have advisors. Our investors.
No, but mentors as a person.
Our investor
individually.
I think our investors are both common.
Not regarding the business, not regarding the structure.
Oh.
If you personally have a mentor, did you ever have in your life a mentor?
No.
I sort of did. University alumni, they provide mentors.
Yeah,
but
no, not me.
The industry is not that relevant, so sometimes
Do you think it's like it's something we would be open to it?
I'm not even sure what a mentor does, to be honest with you. Like on a non-business level, it sounds more like a psychiatrist or something.
I actually would appreciate if there is someone that I can find that you can
speed dial.
Just call them and be like, what should I do in life? Some directions, or
because you guys doing this business as a team, but also as individuals. And then if you guys have some type of plan regarding this business, what is the plan if this business doesn't succeed?
I mean, we
do.
We
have this kind of games. Like
we think about. I mean, we think about it for sure. I mean, like obviously, this pivot's been a big decision for us. The way I see it is like whatever venture I think I'll rule out like 9 to 6 for now. But should this not, bloom the way I expect it to, I'm just going to move on to the next thing, and ideally, I'll have Leon as my guy again, because I think what I've gotten out of Stryde, right? Should this not succeed, but I have every belief that it will, because I truly believe that our beta 3 is the one. I have like 100% faith in it, but hoping for the best, preparing for the worst. The one thing I'm 100% on is this business partner is the business partner for me. That's the way I would look at it.
I'm gonna cry here, man.
It's okay. That's the goal. No dry eyes.
This is this is the biggest key. You know,
Yeah.
the company that they left Hong Kong. You know, the incubator, entrepreneurs first. They left, you know, and they moved to Singapore. You know, the operation, but this was the key of the business. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody has some type of idea, something to drive, but they don't have the full expertise about the end of the product.
Yeah.
Regarding to how it's supposed to be designed, how it's supposed to be produced, how it's supposed to be distributed, sell, everything. Like
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So how you will react if somebody will come to you and ask for, can you be my mentor?
If I was their mentor or they were my mentor.
Yeah. Somebody that can be somebody younger than you, can be older than you, but it's like, okay, you guys doing something what he, you know, see as a representation of his, you know, future, you know, and so he wants to pick your brain. You know?
Actually, there's this mentorship program offered at my university's alumni network. I'm one of the office bearers there, and I was offered to be a mentor. But I think in this point in life, I think it's more important for us to focus on doing our own thing, and then basically I'll save the time for myself for now.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm glad to help later on in life.
Yeah, I think I'm not opposed to the idea, but what does come to mind, or what makes me tick, would be my trade as a personal trainer. In some way, shape, or form, I'm kind of in that facilitator role or the educator role. So I definitely wouldn't be opposed to be a mentor for someone who's interested in my journey or entrepreneurship. I would just be more cautionary in what I tell them, because I have to be honest. It's like, if somebody came to me and said, I want to lose weight, I pretty much have the answers for you. But if somebody asked me, like, how do I have a successful business, I wouldn't know yet. So my thought process would be, I can share with you my experience so that you don't make the mistakes I've made. So that would be like the extent of which I can be a mentor.
This is what a mentorship is about.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because you need to be, the end of the day, you need to be honest with yourself and with
Your
this
level.
person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it's something that it does intrigue me. I think it motivates me even more so to be successful in what I'm doing.
Yeah. One additional question always popped in my head when I met you guys and then started interacting with you guys. You guys have a really, really strong personal brand. Do you believe in a personal brand?
I think it's important. I think, but let's define what a personal brand really means.
So, like, for me, brand doesn't really exist. But the sentence of the personal brand is a representation of, you have some type of posture, sort of statue of being somebody on the market, in the situation, fitness market, somebody who represents something good. Yeah. And if you're representing something good, you want to keep it this goodness moving forward. So this is your personal brand. And it's, can be something what people see you and interpret it in some specific way.
Yeah.
But also, all of us, we have something that, this is who I am and this is what I want to spread.
That's a good question. I think, I agree with all of that. I do believe in it. So what it means for me, like what a personal brand is, I think it's just, if you have views and you have opinions, and you truly have some sort of philosophy behind whatever it is you're doing, no matter how big or small, like that's what I portray myself as. Like, so if you go to my Instagram, anybody who goes to my Instagram, they should know what to expect. It's either, me at the gym. It's either, me on the cardio machine, me and my girlfriend, or Stryde. That's pretty much it. And I want people to understand that that's what I actually am about. Like, that's pretty much all I do every day, all the time.
How you differentiate messaging, personal messaging from the business messaging, or you don't really see this line?
Because obviously I mostly run the Instagram account for Stryde. When I first started doing it, I would sometimes make the mistake of DMing people from Stryde, being myself. So, like, for example, when we were, very engaging in terms of with our Stryde athletes. So, quick shout out to our Stryde athletes. I would be DMing them, like, representing Alex, but it ended up being Stryde because I couldn't differentiate.
Yeah.
And then I slowly started realizing I should probably break this up because I don't really want to make this a habit. Because nowadays I'm reaching out to people that may not be my own athletes. I may be reaching out to other influencers to, for example, come onto my podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Quick plug here: the Daily Pump podcast available on Spotify and on Apple iTunes. But so I've tried to make a differentiator now. I don't really DM people unless I'm reaching out as Stryde. But back to what I was saying is I truly believe that whether or not you're in it to be freaking social media famous, which obviously is not what we're about, it's really important to be authentic, right?
Yeah.
So on my personal Instagram page, I'm not exactly saying that I don't go out or have fun. In fact, I do really enjoy drinking scotch, but I'm not going to hide it. I think it's important to be authentic. So when I'm at the gym and I do my cardio, it's literally, I have a highlight on my Instagram, which is lists life or something. It's literally the same photo of cardio, either it's 45 minutes, 60 minutes, 30 minutes, same thing. It's not exactly fun to watch, but I'm just being me.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important to be authentic.
And so you don't want to be doing too much overthinking, planning, it's just like the flow. Yeah.
I mean, definitely not. And I think some people I think from my perspective, I see a few different ways that people could quote unquote overthink. I don't think it's necessarily a negative thing. The first thing is like the actual content. They might spend a lot of time thinking like, oh, for example, it's like if I'm a fitness guy and I'm posting workouts, they might overthink it in saying that, oh, I might have done this exercise last week. I better think of something new, which I think is, you don't have to. A really great example of workout videos is James Wong. You know James Wong, right? His workouts are fantastic because he doesn't give a shit if he's posted this exercise before because it's all about what is the whole routine. I think that's great. But the other side of the story is we know that fitness on social media is quite like, it's very aesthetic heavy, right? So I honestly feel that some people might actually spend too much time thinking like, I'm going to post 3 photos today. I'm going to make sure they match on my grid and all this kind of stuff. That for me is one type of overthinking as well.
Yeah. I'm just waiting until this Instagram, server's crashed.
I think, I think Instagram, as much as I've actually said this for the last few weeks on my podcast too, like, it's interesting because the Social Dilemma documentary came out. Did you watch that? So it's really interesting because I can see that Instagram.
You know what was missing in this? Netflix.
I know. Are you trying to make people spend more time on Netflix, dude? That's what I was thinking. But so Instagram obviously has taken time to. How do we make it less vain, right? So they said they're going to remove likes, which is interesting, right? So on one hand, you can think that they're removing likes because they don't want people to be so obsessed with the number of likes, which on paper, it sounds like a good idea. But don't you think that it's just promoting for Instagram to have more content? You know what I mean?
No, but my understanding for removing the likes was removing the ability to people see their own currency, because the likes was a currency.
I see.
In the situation when you don't see the value, you cannot put a price for it.
Yeah.
So you still will see the likes on the back of your office and you can show to somebody.
Right.
But the point is like, Instagram wants to make money on this platform, and there's a lot of people who was just making money on this platform. Making those those Instagram accounts with like 1 million followers, and later those reselling those, changing the names of the account. And we have on the beginning started as a eating platform, and then you changing, and then it's the shoes.
If they remove followers on Instagram, it would be a major shift in a lot of people's livelihood, because there are people so there's this UFC fighter, I forget her name. Oh, Paige Van Zandt, great fighter. She was bitching about how she makes more money posting Instagram photos than she does for fights. So so she's moved to a different organization now. But I'm how many other people are out there that are, keeping food on the table from being an influencer? And when they remove the followers, that industry is pretty much going to die.
Yeah, but it's like this is we going in this kind of directions of like, okay, when you're building something on this really not stable, structure, it's don't blame when the structure disappear,
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So this, people putting their basket, eggs in one basket.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
There's complaining, they just see something what is not really a reality. It's like, everybody's making money on the YouTube. Everybody try open account on YouTube and make
It's not
money
even easy anymore. It's not even easy anymore. I mean, like, come on. I think the era of influencers, especially on YouTube, which for me is such an amazing platform because you basically have created a generation of video creators. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But most of them came to fruition like years ago. It was because they came into especially the fitness industry. I mean, I know beauty and makeup is also a very big thing. But if you just look at fitness, a lot of the influencers, they kind of popped like maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago. The guys who had the bodybuilding magazine features on YouTube, they got really famous. Steve Cook's a great example. He, back in the Soldier Nation days when he was really young, he's like, you know what I mean?
How many years old
exactly
was before? He started when there was no internet.
Yeah, and then now, I mean, today, if you said, you want to be a YouTube influencer, good luck with that. I mean, I don't even know where to start because there's so much stuff out there. And the quality is just ridiculous. Some of the videos that these influencers make are just, dude, they're like proper,
My niece right now, so she's still 20, 21.
Yeah.
She and 5 of her friends renting the house.
Right.
And they're just producing YouTube videos one after another.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I have one girl who's responsible for the brand reach. So she's just reaching to all different brands. And because this is in Poland, so the ratio of how much something costs to, for example, Germany, France, UK, just name it, is like 1 to 4 or in some situations 1 to 10.
Right.
So they produce the content for so much less for those big brands.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's because they are one of the first one.
Yeah.
And they have a good technical understanding of video production, how to post, and it's just going.
Yeah.
But what will happen really soon, it will happen the same with 80 different markets. Like the same happen in UK, the same happen in the US. Yeah. And I'm just telling you, just get ready.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe get them faster.
You got to pivot, and one saying that I fucking hate is the saying of "Don't hate the player, hate the game." I'm like, you can't hate the game, dude, because that's like saying the NBA changes the rules and LeBron's not going to play anymore. LeBron still needs to pay his rent, so LeBron has to adjust to the rules, just like everything else in life. If YouTube's no longer allowing you to monetize effectively, you got to figure it out. You can't complain, right? If you complain, nothing's going to change. So, I don't know what to think about this whole
for me also,
social media.
For me it was something a really long time ago. So you have Warren Buffett. Buffett. So Warren Buffett had this business partner, and then this business partner exited US long time ago.
Right.
And he was talking about how you're supposed to structure your own existence. And somebody who's working for yourself or you're working for somebody else, but still you want to provide. You're supposed to have minimum incomes from 8 places.
Yeah. Just to make it viable, right?
So you can switch your future to building something more.
Right.
Making more than your parents, your grandparents, something like that. So you need to build the ability to bring the money to your bank from 8 different places.
Yeah, and it allows you basically exits or options to maneuver should you have to.
Yeah.
I mean, like look at what happened to the PT, well, not just PT industry, but just like gym industry in general during this lockdown. I mean, you're talking about fucking rent, I mean, for gym owners. But you're talking about like PTs or personal trainers who that's their only source of income, and all of a sudden, like, okay, sure, you can do outdoor training, but I had clients who did outdoor training, but I also had clients who didn't.
Yeah.
So you can interact with them. You can ask them if their diet's on point. You can give them nutrition plans, but you're not exactly going to charge them a session for a meal plan. So think about the PTs who didn't have money. I know ex-colleagues who during that lockdown had to get a freaking day job because they're like, I don't have any money, man. I have no money coming in. But that's them putting all their eggs in one basket, dude. Like the gym industry can go, you know. And I actually think, you know, PTing is very competitive in Hong Kong. Like you had the top tier guys like James Campion is like a fucking beast, man. That guy is so knowledgeable. You have those guys who, you know, he's always going to have.
He built one, you know, was part of the one gym.
Yeah.
You know, this one, you know, kind of got different structure.
Yeah.
So what he did is like, by the way, okay, let's start doing something else. And he knows this kind of approach about it.
And how to adjust.
Because his background is in finance.
Yes, yeah, we had him on. I was like, "Are you kidding me right now?" It's been hilarious. And
yours is in marketing, yes?
Yeah. My background's in marketing. So like those guys, like the really knowledgeable guys, you're always gonna have a market because nobody can compete with you, right? But then you'll have like the mid-tier guys who are like, if you underprice yourself, you become that dude who just charges people like a couple $100 an hour and you don't really offer them enough, and then you're never really going to get anywhere because you only have like 24 hours a day, right?
Yeah, you can calculate your ceiling really fast. This was for me when we started the studio,
right?
And I'm like, okay, this is what I'm doing for okay. And I'm like, when I hit this amount of the clients, I'm done.
You're done. You have no hours in a day.
Yeah, and I was like, okay. After a couple of months, in my head, it's like, fuck, this is over.
And I truly believe that, like, which is why, I mean, not to trash on any gym in particular, but the gyms who, you know, incentivize PTs for the hours that they turn in and the number of clients that they have are utterly wrong. Because why would you want a PT to spread himself so thin with like 100 clients? Like, you can't possibly take care of 100 people. It's impossible. So for you as a gym owner to tell me as your employee, like, I want you to hit 10 new clients this month. I'm like, okay, but what about the other 10 that I already have? I can't take care of all of them. Oh, I don't care. Just make them pay. Because they want the money coming in. And you know, to circle back to, you know, why I decided to come into the industry is because you got to have like the right why you're doing it, right? So if you're in a gym environment, you're a junior personal trainer just coming out of university or you just got certified, and the environment is telling you that, hey, you need to sign on as many clients as you can every month and keep as many clients as you can every month. Eventually, this person's going to have so many clients that are all not getting their goals. But the PT is happy because he's getting bonuses every month for being the top PT or whatever. But as a PT, your goal should not be money. Sorry, that's not true. As a PT, your primary goal is your job, right? And your job is to help these people achieve fitness goals. But you're not incentivizing. What gym out there, big box, is incentivizing their PTs for the most goals achieved for clients? I have never heard of this before. And that's the big problem in the industry.
This kind of idea about a gym membership when you
achieve a goal, you pay less.
Exactly. Or for example, you would have the membership and if you don't show up, you pay.
To the thousands of listeners right now, if you use this idea, you better pay me Mack. I think that is a phenomenal idea because
we're
still going, Leon. Because sorry, just to cut Leon in here, we're talking about like typical.
How do you build a perfect gym?
Yeah, because typical big box gyms right now are very money driven in terms of their PTs and clients. So the goals are not really at the fore. We're talking about like if you make a gym where the more goals you achieve, you get a discount, or like if you miss a day, you get added.
It almost sounds like we're going back to Stryde day one.
Stryde day one. Yeah, I mean, like, who knows, dude?
Yeah, maybe
after this beta 3.
Yeah, exactly. It needs to be done. Yeah, because like even when you mentioned the situation with the corona and locking down the industry of physically locking down gyms. This is in some way a stress on the market, you know, like a positive market exercise. Because if you open the business and you don't have a backup of 6 or 8 months, it's supposed to be
reserve.
Let's say it's supposed to be 1 year.
Yeah.
This is by the book. And if you don't have this, you just right away just start running this marathon with the one shoe.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's a real eye opener
Mhm.
because there's a few issues with the market that came to the fore, and like the rent is just so much of a burden on these business
Mhm.
owners.
Yeah.
And when your source of income, like I mean, restaurants are very similar too. But you know what restaurants can do? They can do freaking delivery.
Yeah.
I can't really deliver my services. I mean, you probably could. Like, I can go to your house, I guess, but then it wouldn't be appropriate because in COVID, you're not supposed to interact.
Kind of fitness.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Done.
So,
You-
but it's not
you-
scalable, right?
Yeah,
Like,
but not a lot of people think this way. They don't
Yeah.
be, doing PTs with the clients one-on-one, but at the same time, okay, I will just not do one extra PT, but this time I will just do video recording and I'll just put this one video
broadcast
online.
it, sure.
So it's slowly. I think with any type of job, being this expert in this place, it's to learn everything that is possible to make tomorrow better. You just should start slowly unplug your hours from it and build something that's run automatically.
Yeah. But, on that note, I think that, people are definitely more health conscious now. I think it's good for everybody in the industry. I think it's just good for people in general.
Yeah.
Because, man, like,
Corona. Do you hear this from your clients?
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the issue with my clients now is that even though they've been working out consistently during lockdown, coming back to the gym there's so much stress on it. Like 3 weeks without the gym, like the guys who used to train 5 times a week with me can only do 3 because like that muscle soreness, that fatigue that you get, the exhaustion, I need a couple more days off, man. So they definitely feel the urge to come back and to get back in shape or get back to the regiment they were on. But you really need to taper everything down and just like build it back up. So we're like 3-4 weeks out of lockdown now, and people are slowly back to what they were. I mean, even myself, like my strength and my cardiovascular is kind of back to where it was pre-lockdown, almost. So I think there's definitely a period of adjustment coming back.
Training. Are we doing this bodybuilding competition?
Oh god,
it's still in my life plan, But then, recently I just started a new relationship, and because of COVID, the whole gym thing went away. Home workout just, I started off trying really hard to make it work.
Do you think the relation will be finished if you go for the bodybuilding competition?
No, but I think it's more like at the beginning. There's a phase where you want to spend more time together. You want to go for food and experiences, and then slowly you're gonna realize, wait a minute, I'm getting fat.
I'm telling you from the experience. I failed twice. Doesn't move this.
Yeah, and then I slowly realized I need to feel. I need to stay fit to feel happy about the relationship. Otherwise, it's, quote unquote, it's a toxic relationship. You guys are being fat together. So recently we've making some changes. We bought Ring Fitt. It's a Nintendo-based workout thing, and we've become more health conscious. We cook ourselves. We look at James.
Do you think she will go for the bodybuilding competition with you?
Would she join me me?
Yeah.
I don't think she's the bodybuilding type.
Yeah.
But she's health conscious. In a very normal way.
Like the gen.
You're so nice.
Yeah, like the gen.
Normal as in statistic.
Like gen. Like general population type people.
Yeah.
No, I think man. So, are you back to your workout routine that you were before you were in the relationship?
I after this long break from the gym, I took it as a huge deload month, right? And I restructured my workout program a little bit and focused more on general wellness and functionality as well, because I realized how bad my knee actually is, or my lower back, or my neck. Like, it's just chronic pain, right? It's not like I twisted it and it's a 2-week pain. It's more like a chronic thing where it's stacked up because I don't do enough foam roll, or I don't stretch enough, or my forms are not good. So all these things is now kind of my focus instead of, say, a heavy bench, right? So I've been spending 30 minutes before every workout to do some rolling, do some stretching. So my goal for 2020 is actually to be able to, touch my forehead on my knee, as a flexibility challenge.
Yeah. So it's do you like structure your workout to just achieve this one goal?
It's one of the goals.
Yeah, one of the goals.
I still want to get lean in terms of body fat percentage. At least I want to get back down to 12%,
Yeah.
Which is what I was at before the relationship.
I think it's easy.
Yeah.
That's deep,
Say
man.
casually.
Seriously. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I think
I'm not, I don't want to sound like a dick, or maybe I will sound like a dick. Don't change yourself for the relation.
yeah, I think that's important.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know you coming from a really, really great place, and you're awesome dude, and you don't want to hurt anybody, but just don't change.
yeah. I mean, like I've been with Kendra for like fucking hell. It's like more than 10 years now. I think we're in such a good place now because we're both like health conscious. I think the fact that your girlfriend is, whether it's Gen Pop level or not, that's already a really good start. I mean, can you imagine you were dating me and I just told you my schedule, right?
Yeah.
Like I spend 3 hours in the gym Monday to Friday, and I'm like out in the morning, I'm back late at night.
Yeah.
And she's still like she's the one who like preps my meals for me. I don't even cook my own chicken anymore. She does it for me. And you know what's even better? She weighs everything for me.
Oh my
You know what I
God. Have a sister?
Like so, she does, but she's married. She just had a kid. Like I think that's really important. But I think you're good, dude.
No, if you're a fitness dude,
It's tough.
It's hard to build a relation.
Think about, I mean, like, dude, like just going out to eat. So like, she's already like changed. It's crazy because she's kind of changing herself for me. But it's good now because she's kind of taken my diet and just like adjusted it to herself. So I mean, typically for me now, like even before, like she's just amazing. So I used to fast. Like I think 2 years ago I started fasting. I stopped last year, I think. So I do these prolonged fasts. In fact, my first ever 24-hour fast, she did it with me. So she's that kind of person. And then when I went keto for a long time, she did keto with me. But it was hard on her. She didn't really like that. So now, like, because I'm more like flexible dieting, which is just I know my calorie count, right, and I know my deficit, and I know my protein intake. Once I hit those, everything else, whether it's carbs or fats, I'll eat it just so it fits with my total daily energy expenditure, right, for that day, or my deficit calories. So she just does the same thing. So she'll eat low calorie dense foods. She'll eat her protein, and then whatever else she'll just eat. So now we're good. The issue that comes with a relationship is the eating out part. Yeah. Because especially after lockdown, you kind of just want to go to restaurants again. So now it's like, oh, let's go out and eat. If it's a pizza or if it's like a burger or something, like it's not really possible to track it. Yeah. So I think in a relationship, it's just finding a balance between like, there's got to be a certain level of like, what's the word I'm looking for here? Like being anal with your food, balanced with here's like these number of meals out that we can have, and then you're in a really good place. But yeah, I think I'm just lucky though. I think.
It's nearly impossible to track your eating out part. Like if you were to eat a whole pizza, like
you wouldn't know.
It could have a lot of cheese, or it could be a really healthy one that you never know.
You wouldn't know.
I think personally, the right strategy is to overestimate when you're eating out.
Of course, yeah.
If you think it's an 800 calorie pizza,
1,000.
Write down.
Yeah, for sure.
1,200 or something.
Yes.
Like if I eat a burger, I'm just gonna use Shake Shack as my benchmark, because if you do a double smoke shack burger, it's like 1,000 calories. I'm like, okay, this is good. Even if I eat a relatively clean burger, quote unquote, I'm gonna use Shake Shack. Pizza's hard though. Pizza's like a rough one to do.
Did you know McDonald's used to have the whole calorie breakdown behind the piece of paper on the tray?
Yeah.
And
in Hong Kong?
I don't know, it's gone now. Maybe that was a regulation. Anyways, and I also found out that a double Whopper from Burger King is just around 1,000 calories.
It's mad.
It's so much. I didn't know.
Okay, so this is another information. Depends on what kind of bacteria you have in your stomach. Those calories can be different.
That's true.
Quick plug.
Prenetics.
I mean, how big's the difference though? Is it negligible or quite significant here?
It can be range about 400 calories.
Does this also explain why some people eat the same food but get fat a lot faster?
It's an insulin intake. I mean, insulin jumps.
Sensitivity.
Yeah. I lately I'm just trying to unplug too many combinations of too much thinking Whenever I add something, it's not exactly to the main goal.
Yeah.
I'm just pushing left and right.
Yeah, I think that's why that's why, like, you know, when you're into fitness, like, that sense of regimen it makes things a bit easier, because
it's good if you're going for the competition. If you don't do competition, fuck it, doesn't matter.
I just mean, like, the mentality of someone who's into fitness. So, like, the fact that, you know, Leon hits the gym like 6 times a week. I'll hit the gym 6 times a week. You hit the gym 6 times a week. That is already consistency. That consistency plus your cardio, whether you do it or not, that consistency is a really good baseline for you to have that extra, I don't know, whatever it is you like to eat, that pack of chips or that burger or those chicken McNuggets. It doesn't really matter. You know what I mean?
I'm worried about my sleep.
Your sleep? Oh, dude, let's not even open that can of worms.
If I don't hit 9, if I do
9 hours?
9, yeah.
Get out of here.
No, seriously. If I do the 9, if I do like 8, 7, 6, 5,
right.
Next day, I will not wake up. I can have 10, 15 alarms, no way.
Yeah, that's the thing about sleep, right? Because, like, calories, like, because, you know, sometimes I gotta tell myself to stop thinking about accumulative stuff, because I've gotten to this thing in my life where I'm like, oh, it's okay. If I have a Shake Shack today for 1,000 calories, I'll just take 1,000 calories out of my week. Or if I'm missing, if I don't have an hour to do my list today, I'll add 15 minutes on Monday, Tuesday to make up for that 60 minutes. But sleep, dude, sleep is one of those things where, like, you can't make up for it. If you sleep for 4 hours, I don't give a shit if you nap for 10 hours the next day.
Yeah.
You'll still be so beat, man.
There's this thing called a sleeping debt, right?
Sleeping debt?
Yeah, like there's your body kind of accumulates that tiredness and the need to, get rid of free radicals or repair muscle, lactic acid, all that kind of stuff. And you need to sleep it back, they say.
Yeah.
You cannot sleep.
But you still feel like shit, right?
This is what I was reading, is that before was kind of understanding, you can borrow those hours of sleeping. No. It's kind of like a, inside of your ear, you have those hair responsible for the movement. And this is how you hear something.
Okay.
So if you damage this hair, they're just damaged. They don't grow back. It's kind of like your hair.
Sounds like my hairline.
Yeah. Then you can tell you
Oh my god. No, but yeah, sure. I don't know. I mean, like, I'm sure there's studies to prove both, but I mean, like, I just feel like lack of sleep is just one of those things that, dude, I can't get it back for sure. I think I've been like, I don't know. For me, maybe like 5 to 6 is my average.
Yeah.
That's
Definitely
really
takes a toll, man.
I definitely cannot live like that. Like, if I do 5 or 6 hours, even just 6 hours every day, I think I'll seem pretty depressed all the time.
And then there's ghrelin that happens. Like, you're so freaking hungry when you don't sleep enough. That's just a pain in the ass as well. My god.
And it's, if I can ask
Yes.
some additional questions.
Of course.
If you can say something what most likely people will not expect about you, Leon, Alex, you.
Not expected of me?
Not expecting. Something that's like,
so out of the blue. Dude, I'm like, I have loads of embarrassing things. I'm like, I got 2 that come to mind, 3 that come to mind. 2. I'm actually a really big nerd for comic books. I don't think people know that about me. No. And then,
comics.
dude, like, I'm like the biggest Batman fan. It's unbelievable.
Really?
Yeah. I'm actually quite excited about this new Batman that's coming out, because I think Robert Pattinson's going to do a killer job. But actually, the other thing's probably more interesting. I have a phobia. My phobia is called megalophobia.
Of cows.
Not just that.
What?
So no. Not just cows. So something that nobody except Leon and a few close friends of mine don't know is I have this phobia called megalophobia. It's a fear of big things, but in my particular case, it's big animals. So anything beyond the size of, like, say, a pig, like, freaks me out. So, for example, I went to watch. So I kind of know when it happened, but essentially what happens is that if I see, like, so I went to watch Planet of the Apes with my girlfriend when I was like 16. Even though I see it in the movie, I like shut my eyes. I freak out. I want to leave. Like, it makes me feel really uncomfortable.
Wow.
Speaking of comic book nerd, you know the show The Flash?
Yeah.
You know in The Flash, there's a villain called Gorilla Grodd. It's a talking gorilla.
Yeah.
So I'm streaming this show on Netflix a few years back now. and the episode is titled Gorilla Grodd, and I skipped it. But back then I was watching Netflix and I kind of passed out. So in my dream, I dreamt that Gorilla Grodd was on my bed, and I woke up like shouting. You know what I mean? But back to the origin, I think there were two moments in my life that made me fear big animals. The first one is from a Japanese animated movie from way back in the day. I think it's called Spirited Away. Spirited Away. There's this scene where the protagonist's parents get turned into pigs, and it's a really gruesome like image, and that freaked me out. Number one, and then later on in my life when I was studying in the UK. So in my old school, St. Edmunds College, there.
So breath, something like nervous, like.
No, I have a panic attack. Is what happened. So we were in my school. I was like maybe 14 or 15 years old, and then my school was really big, like 800 acres or something stupid like that. We had these backyards, these like fields, and in the summer we'd bring cows in just to help the farmers and such. But me and my friends back then, I was a big smoker. So me and two of my buddies would go to the fields, climb over the barbed wire fence, and I would stick like a cigarette in front of the cow. Like, it sounds really brutal. I hope PETA doesn't like sue me or something. And then my friend decides to kick the cow in the butt, and it just starts mooing, and me and my friend just started running. And because we started running, the cow started chasing us. And that point was just like a moment where I'm really afraid of these big animals. And I climbed up a tree, and I held on for dear life, and the cow finally fucked off, and I went back to my room. So
do you think
I think this incident, and definitely the movie Spirited Away, just gives me a big fear of big animals.
I had a cow encounter that kind of freaked me out.
Yeah.
Two nights ago.
You were producing like milk protein, yeah.
That's a different
the
story.
story.
That's a different story. That's a cool project.
Yeah.
But anyway, 2 days ago I was camping with Gary, Spartan Race, and so I had a campsite, my own little tent. There was a lot of cows, and in midnight, like I heard a lot of footsteps around the tent, and the tent is a really weak little piece of cloth, right? Mm-hmm. And I was really kind of starting to panic if the cow would start crashing into the tent or something.
Yeah.
So I opened up the tent, and in front of me, within say 20 centimeters, is a cow's face.
Dude, that's the thing.
And that was at night, and all I had was a little torch. It was a huge black cow face with horn just staring into me.
That's like exactly it.
This close.
That's exactly it.
Normally, I'm not afraid of cow, but when he's that close and I feel trapped inside my own tent, that was the entrance too.
Yeah.
And I was kind of panicking, right? And then my girlfriend was like, "Cow don't attack people, man. Chill."
Dude, she's never been chased by a cow then, man.
She's like,
I'm telling you right now.
Moo-moos are nice. Moo-moo eat
Oh
grass.
my god, that was the moose
And I'm like,
your ass.
What if he walks in here? It's a massive animal.
It
It's scary. Yeah. Go on, Leon, but what is something about you? I can't believe you. How do you know about the milk story? Is it from last time?
Oh,
right.
Startup.
Well, that could be one thing. I'm trained as a bioengineer, and my first project was genetic engineering to get a yeast to ferment and create cow milk without using of a cow. Mm-hmm. So that enables vertical farming, where you can create milk without cow inside urban areas or even places where cow cannot be farmed.
Do you think it's possible to do something?
It is possible.
It is possible.
You did it.
Well, I actually did it. So the proof of concept was to create. So what defines a glass of milk is actually the milk's protein, whey, and casein, which we all know very well about. And then there's also lactose and other little minerals and stuff. The hardest part to create without animal is the protein part. So in order to create those protein, you put the cow's certain parts of the DNA into yeast, and then you ferment that yeast. So that was our project, and we created a glass of quote-unquote milk, which costed around 7,000 pounds per glass. And it kind of looked like milk. It's white.
Did it taste good?
If you drink, you'll die.
Oh, why?
Because to purify those milk protein, there's a lot of other chemicals you have to use.
So you didn't actually have the final to consumer product?
No.
But you were well on your way.
It's still, somebody did this?
Back then, there was another company called Move-Free Move-Free, get it? Move-Free.
Yeah.
That was creating it with almost the same method. And
just by chance, or because it's
the
only
reason why I didn't continue was back then it was a startup competition, and we had to pitch the idea at the end to the panel of judges, which are investors, businessmen, etc. And the whole 20 minutes, I was talking about DNA, cells, biology, graphs. None of it mattered to them. And they were asking, so where's the go-to-market strategy? Where's the intellectual property? Where's the marketing? Where's the public view on this stuff? And none of it was answered. So, I was so focused on just doing labs, right? Typical pure engineer back then. And now it's kind of reversed in our software environment, where
we're not the technical ones.
We're the non-technical ones. So I think, from that experience, I've learned to, you need the best of both worlds.
Yeah. Yeah. If the guys have a chance to put some type of message in the can be on the top of the plane, can be on the top of the biggest building, some ginormous billboard, some one sentence where will million people have opportunity to see. What do you put on this? Something. I don't know. What do you like to?
I have
people, or maybe you want to put like maybe 2 or 3.
I have. Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah. I mean, I think the common denominator of the next things I'm gonna say is just, at the end of the day, there's got to be effort for reward. So, one of my idols is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and he has a saying, blood, sweat, and respect. The first 2 are given, and the last is earned. So that's something that resonates with me a lot. I think you can't expect anything in return if you don't give something. And my other idol, used to be, Conor McGregor is a big guy for me. Before he got too rich. There's one of his quotes, I can't remember exactly what it is, but it goes along the lines of, there's no luck here. It's an obsession and hard work. And I think, for you to excel in anything, there's got to be a little bit of obsession. You gotta live and breathe it. And I'm just gonna start ripping people's quotes off, I think, for this last bit.
What I'm fucking.
I love quotes. I've got a big ass quote tattooed on my back. There's that too. Marianne Williamson, made famous by the movie Coach Carter. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. I think it's just about not always being worried that you're not good enough to do something, and you should in fact be worried about how great you can possibly be. And that's something that also really resonates with me, because I believe I can be very great.
So you made it tattoo here,
No, I've got 3 tattoos, 2 from England. So this one that's colored here, and the one on my back, and then I got this one recently in Hong Kong. Quick plug to the family business in London and Friday's Tattoos in Hong Kong.
Okay, give me a contact later, because I'm looking for something.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
That's the tattoo parlor's name, Family Business?
Family Business is the tattoo parlor, not the... Oh, sorry, it's called the Family Business. I was like, wait, what? Yeah, the Family Business, Farringdon, London.
Any tattoos?
No, for me, not yet. I'm stuck in the perfectionist mindset, where I want to find the perfect situation to get that first tattoo.
It doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. I know.
You know the rule 80-20?
Huh?
You know the rule 80-20?
80-20.
Yeah.
In what context? It depends.
Any context.
80% what?
80% of investment fail.
Oh shit.
Or 80% of your money is from your 20% of your portfolio. That sort of thing.
Exactly. Yes. This exists something like that.
From 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel.
So there's Prabhata was a guy, was a mathematician, economist, who discovered 80% of the wealth in Italy comes from 20% of people. Yeah, and then real estate, like he started checking this, like 20% of my pea pods give me 80% of my food. So something like that. Yeah. So perfection doesn't exist.
So I was thinking about the quote on the plane question, right? So one of the recent favorite quote is of mine is by Jordan Peterson, as a psychologist in Canada.
That's funny, because I'm really good quotes for you guys.
And the quote is the 12 Rules of Life. I bought it, the hardcover one. I'm not done yet. I'm still on chapter 1 about friggin' lobsters. Anyway.
Chapter 1. Finish my fucking book.
Yeah, so it's Slay the Dragon, right? So he talks about people you don't get to choose to not suffer, but you get to choose how to suffer. So in order to go get what you want, which is by all means your own definition, right? But to get there, you don't get to choose not to suffer.
Yeah.
So what he means is like you have to choose your own path. The dragon you have to slay to get to that treasure. It doesn't matter what dragon that is. You have to kill it, right? So there's no way around it. You have to work hard for it, and it's going to be painful. It's going to draw you back. You're gonna face a lot of obstacles and bottlenecks. But at the end of the day, you still gotta slay the dragon, right? So that's sort of his quote. And the other quote that I like is not really a quote, but it's the phrase "nothing matters." It's kind of a very nihilistic view, but it might sound kind of hippie right now, but in life nothing really matters. I mean, this is more for a mental health perspective.
Yeah, it's like I said, if you look reading Stoicism, right?
Stoics.
Approach,
if people that really have a high standard of themselves, and you have a really harsh goal, if you don't meet it, you fall into depression, or you're always chasing the next best thing. Those kind of guys are usually not happy, and they usually compare themselves with others. For example, we could be comparing ourselves with startup founders of the same age who's doing a lot better, right? But again, that doesn't matter. Like you're on your own timeline, or if you fail at this single investment, say my investment into Bitcoin in the wrong timing, right? I could be really depressed and mad and regret and all that stuff, right? But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Life goes on, and you just got to be happy, accept it as it is. So I think that's also a very nice little mindset to have.
What about
Give me a second.
So we're losing the Alex. So maybe we can just start.
Okay,
not a problem. So we can make a very good introduction with somebody.
That was our investor. Quick plug.
Okay,
Beautiful man. Love him.
Are you basically looking for investors?
I mean, I think we're always looking for investors. For our next one, I think our current investor is looking to, support us once again. So actually, we're not really outreaching at this point.
Yeah. How people can reach you guys? Or just don't reach you guys? They're both taken. So now, to all my female listeners, no, please don't contact Alex.
Yeah. Leon's unfortunately taken now.
Leon especially.
You can find both Leon and I on Stryde.app on Instagram. You can find me on achung6 on Instagram. Leon is Leon in HK. Do not confuse that with Leon in USA. And of course, our podcast, The Daily Pump, which is available on Spotify, iTunes, and whatever else you listen to your podcasts on. Yeah.
Okay, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
Thank
It was
you.
a good time.
Thanks.
Beautiful, dude.
Boom.
Nice, man.